Okay, first I want to welcome all the press that's here today. This is a group of mayors and some of their folks that have been working together for several months now. Jim Maley decided a while ago that we should sit down and talk about all the different ways that perhaps local communities could work together. But I would say, and I think all of you would agree with me, that we've been trying to find ways for years, really, reaching out to our neighbors to try to find ways to save money and work together. This is a more formal way to do that. And so, Jim, I'd like you to kind of explain what we've done so far.
You got it. Thanks, Tish. First off, let me introduce and tell you everyone that's here. Audubon's mayor is here today, John Ward. Mount Ephraim's mayor is here, Joe Walk. Haddon Township's mayor, Randy Teague, is here. Ed Forte, the mayor of Haddon Heights, is here. Bob Forbes, the mayor of Oak Lynn. We've already heard from Tish Columbia from Haddonfield. And the 7 towns, for the, I guess, 4 or 5 months, we've been talking about a lot of different issues, but mainly talking about what steps can we take to begin to more formally work together to try to share services, share equipment, cooperate together in a way that might help us keep property taxes down and really might be a defensive measure against what we all think is coming from the state, which is there's legislation that's going to be considered this fall that is going to put strict requirements on certain sharing of services, and there's more and more talk every year that is kind of adding on to the 2% cap requirements for sharing services and reducing our cost between all of us. So this is really the first step. With the passing of Neil Armstrong, I really get what he means when he said one small step, because this seems so easy and so, so much of a no-brainer to do. But to get 7 towns together and the elected officials in agreement that we want to formally do more between ourselves, well, it just hasn't been done. We haven't seen it in our area, and it's a big step for us. It's a very, very big step. So the first things that we're doing out of the chute are we have now inventoried everyone's public works equipment, their trucks, their dumpsters, their front-end loaders, and we have an inventory so that each of the towns can see what everybody else has so that they can make decisions about what else they might need to purchase, how they can work out an agreement to use a truck, say, on a one-time basis or maybe more regularly, and work that out with the town and reimbursement. So that's the one step we've done. The other is on something that came up during the time we were talking to construction code officials. We ran into a problem that I've never seen in many years of doing this, that I had a construction code official out of town when we had a bit of an emergency with the building and owners were not cooperating, so I needed someone with enforcement authority to order things to be done, and we had a bit of a gap. So we're setting up a mechanism so that each of the towns will cross-designate their construction code officials with some enforcement authority so that if we need it, we can fill in those gaps and make sure we have it covered. So that's generally what we're doing. I think it's a first step. I really would like every mayor to say a few words about what they think, what this means to them, and why they're involved, and just give their comments on it. So I don't know, Bob, was just kind of run from right to left.
We've always looked at ways to pinch pennies, to count every paperclip, and I think these are ways that we have opportunities to now do it collectively. And I just think that we've all been doing shared services with one another, but we've never done it on this grand scale. And I thought the idea was a great, a wonderful idea to just see how we can share this collectively and save even more money.
Do you identify yourself?
Yes. Sorry. I'm Mayor Bob Forbes from Oak Lynn.
I'm Mayor John Wood from Audubon. I think that collectively we've all kind of had an unofficial shared service. We used to reach out to our neighbors whenever there's an opportunity or a need, and try to think about each other first before we did anything else. I know unofficially from a DPW standpoint, we've always kind of shared equipment when there's a need. The towns just sort of pulled together and did that. This is a great opportunity for us to formalize it. I know that there's also, there are a few shared services that I'm aware of amongst the towns that are up here already. I know Audubon and Haddonfield, we share a court currently. We also share EMS with Mountie from Oakland. And I'm sure there's others that other people to talk about. I mean, those are opportunities, and we're involved in this already, so if we formalize it and possibly make some of those shared services grow to involve all 7, that would be, the ultimate goal is to share on a grander scale so we can have more scales of economy and savings. So this is a great step, and I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Mayor Ed Forte from Haddon Heights. This is a great first step. I'm happy that we can work together and take down the walls of what you speak and say about the old room rule. You know, we're going to an age that equipment is so expensive. I'm a past fire chief in my town, and just to buy a new fire truck, you're spending $700,000 for one piece of equipment. We do it already in the fire service. It's a great thing, and I think this will move forward and will save the council a lot of money. Thanks.
Randy Keaton from Haddon Township. I think all the other mayors have said pretty much everything. I think by the time we get to the last one, there's going to be nothing to say. Mayor Wolf. But it's just another opportunity, as Mayor Ford said, to take a hard look at our costs, try and save some money, whether it be employees, equipment, supplies, what have you. In this day and age, we have to do whatever we can to save money and taxpayer dollars. And given our closeness of our communities, relatively the same size, it is something that I think presents a wonderful opportunity for all of us to try and save costs with this formal agreement. Thank you.
Joe Walker, Mayor of Borough Mountie. This is what it takes for Mountie to get a little closer to Haddonfield and have to be connected to Audubon.
Those insurance meetings.
That's right. We got those joint insurance funds meetings, everybody. I'm pleased that Mayor Mountie took the initiative again to move us forward. I know that my fellow mayors and myself appreciate the opportunity to always look at ways to save our taxpayers money. So I think this is a tremendous opportunity to do that. And you know, we get those governor's checks list every year now, and I think we're one step ahead of the governor on our checklist, and that we've certainly made our efforts, and I think we'll continue to make good efforts in the way of sharing services. We're no stranger to that in the Borough Mountie. We did many years ago do our courts, and we share our courts now with Oakland, and that was very successful. And of course, our neighbors in Belmar, we do a lot of shared services with those and a lot of good, respectful ways. I want to acknowledge one of my commissioners today, Commissioner Andy Gilmore, who's my Director of Public Safety, and I know he's here and has been sitting at the meeting, so thank you, Andy, for doing that for the borough. Andy is one of our retired commissioners, so he has plenty of time to do that.
I think the only thing I would stress is that all of us are friends. We all have the same challenges within our communities, but we also share the likeness of our communities. And we know that our constituents really depend on us. They get those tax bills 4 times a year, and they really want to know that we're doing everything we can. So I appreciate so much Jim Ailey badgering us until we agreed to sit down at a table and see how close we were in the thoughts that we had. And we'll continue to do this. I think I'd like to give credit to my borough administrator, Sharon McCullough, who I think started it, Jim.
Sharon badgered me first.
Yeah, she did. Actually working on the county police thing, and they started talking. And I think it just goes to show that left on our own, we can come up with great ideas. We don't need a bigger unit telling us what to do. We know what needs to be done. Our constituents understand it, but most of all, you have town leaders that are dedicated to making it happen. So I look forward to working with all these gentlemen. And are you asking a question?
We'll get to it.
Okay, we'll get to you in just a minute. And I just want to turn it back over to Jim to close down before we leave.
Thanks, Tish. Thanks, Tish. Okay, we're open up for questions. Bill, do you want to get a question?
Yeah, I just can't say the mayors here. I just wondered if you all can individually speak about your thoughts about a Camden County Police Force. This is a shared services agreement that you're working on with Public Works. What are your thoughts about Camden County Police Force? You all can.
Well, it's really, it's not what we're here for at all. We're not, this has nothing to do with the Camden County Police Force. We're not here in any way about that. That's a completely different direction. The 7 of us have gotten together to try to do some things to save money between all of us. And what's going on with that?
Due to the fact that we're all public officials, and this is an item of public concern, you had meetings and talked recently. The public was invited to the meetings, they closed door meetings. If you're looking at a county police force, this all affects all of your towns.
We're not going to go through all this. The only county police force that's involved is a metro division being set up in Camden City. There's nothing else. I believe the Freehold director was pretty clear. If any town would like to be involved in it, they can be involved in it. None of us have expressed, and no one else, no other town that I know of, has expressed interest to get involved in it. We're not doing it. The meeting that you referred to was a meeting that was set up with police officials and mayors to coordinate the transition in Camden for public safety purposes. It wasn't about the shared service, it wasn't about the county police force. It was to go over, these are what the timetables are, so that first meeting was for the inner ring suburbs. I believe there's a meeting going to be later this month for like all of the counties, just to let people know what's going on. That's all it is. Do you have any questions about what we're here about today, Bill?
Are there any other officials who want to speak on this?
Anybody want to talk about the?
All good.
And you want to ask any questions about why we're here today, or no?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
In
All right.
the interest of shared services,
Sure.
you're talking about public works and construction code. Have discussions extended to police forces or fire departments yet?
Discussions have expanded and covered virtually every part of town operations. Purchasing agents, tax collectors, everything, everywhere, and we'll be continuing to talk about it and look at all that. But we really want to try to take some baby steps here and make sure that we can all play nice together.
Jim, is there any kind of mechanism for covering liability for equipment? Let's say Manhattan Heights blows you or whatever, and things of that.
We'll coordinate that through the insurance companies, to the extent that we need to. Most folks here, not everybody, but most folks are in the joint insurance fund.
Okay.
But not everybody is. So, and we'll work that as we're doing it.
On a case by case.
Yeah. A lot of the details about any extended share, use of equipment, let's say, that may require reimbursement is going to be done on a case by case basis. Nothing's going to be formalized. It's not going to be the $50 a day for a dump truck. We're going to see how it goes, because the intention is, and it already works that way in a lot of spots where the towns are sharing already. I know Haddon Township and Collingswood share, our public works guys do things back and forth all the time, helping each other, especially the water services. Okay?
Any thought of?
I'm not with a question, Bill. Really? Okay.
Is there any chance that you guys will come together with snow, things of that sort? I mean, that would be public service. You've got county roads, but I mean, have you all thought about that? Would this thing kind of extend to that?
It is safe to say, we have looked at street cleaning, we have covered all kinds of areas and begun to look at what the most pressing needs would be, what we could do quickly, what we could do as a first. This inventory and sharing of equipment is a first, easy, doesn't take very much, and we're going to continue to work. We were meeting again on Thursday of this week, and we're going to continue to meet to keep, seeing what else there is we can do to share.
When did you start meeting? How often have you gotten?
I'm going to say we've met like 5 or 6 times over the last 5 months. 5, 6 months? Probably the last 5, 6 months.
And you guys talked about cost savings, has any of that been gone? How are you gonna see cost savings when everybody's saying, you know, how substantial the cost savings could be seen from this stuff?
We don't have any kind of like big board projections that this is what we're going to save, but if, for what we're doing today, only what we're doing today, if one of our towns doesn't buy a truck tomorrow because they only need it a few times a year and they can utilize that from another town, we hope that we're going to realize savings that way. But we haven't quantified it in any way. This is, like we said, this is the engagement. We'll look about what else we can do.
Can you describe what an emergency would be for construction code officials?
Yeah, sure. That arose because in Collingswood we had an old bank building had marble slabs, 200-pound marble slabs. About 10 of them fell off the front of the building, thankfully during the middle of the night, and there were more that were hanging off of the building. We couldn't get the owner to respond as quickly as we wanted him to respond, and I needed my construction code official to issue citations, to issue directives and orders, and he was down in the Outer Banks. And we've always made accommodations over time for handling permits and kind of the routine, but this was one in which I needed his enforcement authority. And so this will give us that, kind of plug that gap for us.
Is it going to be like, is it just going to be the Collingswood construction code official? Is he going to be an emergency guy?
No, everybody has their own, and some of them are already in shared services, but we'll just cross-designate them so that we'll be able to call on another one and he'll have the enforcement authority if something like that comes. Look, I've been doing this for 24 years. It's the first time anything like that ever happened. So it may not happen for a long time, but it's we've covered a problem that existed.
Is there a county official? There wasn't a county official that could help with that situation?
Not that I'm aware of. No, we dealt with it mainly through the fire code, is what we did with the short term.
So there's no county construction official?
Nope. No, it's all local. Yeah, it's all local. It's all our responsibility.
Let me just jump in because we have an agreement with Audubon for their court services, and that has saved us. I mean, it's $60,000 a year by going ahead and going into that contractual agreement with them, which is a decent amount of money. And I'm sure that Audubon also saw savings on their part. So we're looking at all those opportunities.
Even to the point where we get to go out for road projects, and you get better projects or get better costs if you have a larger project. So those are the things that we're looking to do is collectively we're organizing what projects we have in the future so that we can get a better bid.
Sounds like a consortium of towns that are doing a road project.
Yeah, the purchasing is Jimmy.
Now you mentioned this is the first of its kind. Is it just because there's the number of towns involved, or?
It's just the first that I know.
We've all done shared
I
services.
want to lower that
I mean,
standard.
like, the number of towns involved.
Yeah,
The number of towns involved.
I think that's what we looked at.
Yeah, we all have different agreements with one another or with some other towns, but this is the first that there's ever been like a working group of towns that has consistently met with this goal of finding what else there is that we can do to save a couple bucks.
And there are some other towns.
Mm-hmm.
Small towns.
Yes, it's kind of like the Whitehorse Pike. It's a lot of Whitehorse Pike towns, very similar.